Chapter 29. A New Hope, Nier. I didn't leave the station until I ate my final meal's worth of food, and despite the monotony of being on the station, as pretty much the other things to do upon it was to play my games, help answer some calls from the ground troops to help with morale, and lastly sleep with the androids, and admittedly I was getting past any uncomfortable feelings I may have had when the scout models wanted to engage in little skin ship after one of them cried out he was willing to go through a sex change to be able to sit in my lap, and I folded and just said screw it and hugged the scout. But that didn't mean I was ready to just hop into bed with a bunch of men whether they were twinks or not. They still didn't really interest in me sexually. But in the week or so I spent here atop the station, I wouldn't be surprised if I slept with more than half of the operators, and it wasn't like I went out of my way to do so. No, they learned that if they wore their old face mask that covered their face and used 60s name and voice files, they could basically impersonate her, and well, things happened when I was banging one out with what I thought was her after we made a deal to spend some time in her room, only for the real one to come in late to the booty call. Nevertheless, that twin scare made me run back to White's quarters and spend the next few days solely with her, and now I was ready to leave. "You didn't forget anything, did you, Jake?" White asked me for the dozenth time from the ship's intercom, and thankfully with the week I was there on the station they saw fit to outfit the ship with a couple of cameras that would stream what was outside the ship inside so I could see where I was going through. They still denied me control of the said ship, as they said that it was almost entirely automated after orders were sent from the bunker in order to prevent any wireless connections from machine lifeforms from infecting it and possibly taking control of it. The thought of some brain-dead machine making my ship take a nosedive to crash into Earth made me drop my repeated requests for the ship to have a pirate's wheel installed for me to be able to steer the said ship. "Yes, White, I got everything in my single bag, don't worry," I consoled her, and as the engines gently flared to life and pushed me out of the station, I could see White relax into her chair seeing me leave. "Why are you looking so relaxed now, Commander? Was my presence detrimental to your operations?" I teased her, and although it was kinda true, as the androids on the ground got the idea that if they hurried up their missions it was likely they would be remanded to speaking to me as I was handling non-critical mission debriefings, they lost some of the quality and efficiency as they attempted to railroad their mission, and I had to more than once almost bring an android to tears after telling them I was disappointed in them for both endangering themselves and the mission in their rush. Commander White snorted and smiled casually, as I had spent the previous night working out all of White's stress before I had to leave, and I was glad to see a lot of the weight she looked to be carrying was relieved by my visit. "No, Jake. More like I am glad I will be able to sleep fully at night without worrying about you absconding to spend a few hours with one of my subordinates and reduce their efficiency when they are at work." I shrugged as much as I could within the tight bindings my seat had. Well, I suppose I will just have to comfort myself with you having stolen all my dirty laundry." White's smile froze, and I could already see herself cursing for repeatedly asking me to check if I forgot anything. "Yes, I will make sure to thoroughly discipline whoever took all your clothes, but in the meantime, I have taken the liberty to supply you with a couple of sets of Yoarha quality clothes fitted to you, and I know your thoughts on the scout models' outfits, so they consist of pants, long sleeve shirts, and a jacket with a detachable hoodie, as you have shown a strong inclination to them. Obviously all these clothes will be in Yoarha colors, as most. Unfortunately, we did not have any other dye upon the station." Commander White managed to bullshit. And I knew it was so, as I have seen her wardrobe full of copies of that very outfit which had gold rather than the standard black and white. Not to mention I could feel this was their way of marking their territory, as they told the frantic resistance army that a human was touring the Earth after spending some time upon the Yoarha station, and trust me, I need to be marked as a Yoarha human, as some of the resistance leaders were extremely zealous and wanted to either launch me back to the moon or literally bury me several miles beneath the surface of Earth in a bunker, and either to cryo-freeze me or likewise have me locked up. Now as for how said resistance leaders knew I was at the station, well, when you video call a frantic scout model and they show all their buddies in the resistance army what I looked like and how I was a human, it quickly spiraled out of control, and it spread to all the leaders within the very hour, and I am sure even the machines knew with how they were literally screaming that a human was finally coming home from the rooftops. "I am set for the human culture stash, correct?" I asked one of the operators, as White had to be called away to once again tell a resistance leader to go drink expired oil for wanting me to go live at their encampment. "This is 60, and that's correct, Jake. You are currently set to touch down in an empty park outside the business district where the stash is located," my favorite operator told me, and then she continued before I could respond. "Also, Jake, Commander White is likely going to be busy for the next few days, so I have been remanded to being your personal operator, so if you have any questions at all or just want to talk for a few hours, I will happily comply with your wishes. Alright, sounds good 6-0, I answered, grateful for having her beside me, as I imagined running around the desert for a few hours was going to be boring. Okay, Jake, lastly, in order to both communicate with you better and to protect you should 2B, 92, and 6E, not immediately be at the landing zone. We have prepared your own pod to protect you and guide you. 60 explained, and I felt pretty giddy at the thought of having my own laser shooting pod. Honestly, it was like knowing you were getting both an awesome gun and a gaming system for Christmas.